After 10 long months of pregnancy, my water broke. On the way to the hospital, the student I had been sponsoring called my husband. She confessed that she had secretly admired him for a long time but didn't want to destroy our family, so she decided to end it all. My husband abandoned me on the overpass, made a U-turn against traffic and rushed back to comfort her. I bore the pain in my abdomen and walked 5 kilometers on the overpass before finally getting a cab. By the time I reached the hospital, my blood had already stained half of my body. The doctor told me I had arrived too late. My baby was already gone. It felt as if my heart had been ripped from my chest. I called my husband, but he said, let's get a divorce first. We'll remarry once she's emotionally stable. Our child is gone. There's no use dwelling on it, but we can save another innocent woman. I remained silent for a long time, then quietly whispered, okay, then we're both free. The poor student successfully rose in status, while I, feeling disheartened, left for a distant place. But luck found me. I remarried a kind man and found happiness in a new family. 3 years later, I ran into my ex-husband. He grabbed me by the neck, fury in his eyes, and shouted, you remarried again? Didn't we agree to remarry in the future? Are you that desperate? Can't you live without a man? Alora, you disappeared for 3 years and now you couldn't resist showing up? You're here for money, aren't you? This occasion is important and I warn you, stay away. Otherwise, you won't get a single cent. I stood frozen at the airport entrance, the harsh words of the man approaching me cutting through the air. I stared in shock, unable to move, until I finally recognized him, my ex-husband, Silas Armani. And walking beside him, like a vision of elegance, was Elvira Conti. Once, Elvira wore patched clothes. She knelt before me, begging for money to attend college. I, moved by pity, had helped her, caring for her needs. Little did I know that the girl from the countryside had been plotting to take my place all along. Now, after years of silence, she stood before me in designer clothes, a far cry from the girl I had once helped. It seemed that after pushing me aside, she had successfully won Silas's heart. Silas cursed me once, twice, and it still wasn't enough to ease his anger. He sneered, his voice dripping with disdain. Back then, I was just trying to help someone and you disappeared out of spite. I thought you had more dignity. Why show up again today? Alora, take a good look at yourself. You're nothing but the lowest of the low now. Since leaving me, you've had a miserable life, haven't you? Now you see the value of money, huh? Now you know that a successful husband is your support? Too bad. It's too late. From the moment you acted out of spite, you lost any right to be my wife. I'll make this clear. Even if you stand before me now, I'll never remarry you. I shook my head quietly, my voice barely a whisper. You're mistaken. I'm here on business at the airport. Silas looked me up and down, his gaze heavy with disdain. Business? Can you even afford a plane ticket? If you need money, just ask. Stop trying to hide behind these ridiculous excuses to make yourself look better. Elvira sneered beside him, her words sharp. Alora, Silas, and I are about to get married. You're showing up without shame is really putting us in a tough spot. Besides, Silas's company is growing bigger. You don't care about your reputation, but we need to consider the impact. Silas pulled out a wad of cash with a flick of his wrist and threw it in my face. This should be enough to get by for a few days. Now, keep quiet. He grabbed Elvira's hand and turned away, leaving me standing in stunned silence. I was so angry I couldn't find the words. I wanted to run after them, shout a few things, but then I glanced at the time. My husband's flight had just landed. In the past, I had always been late picking him up from the airport and I could still remember the sorrowful look in his eyes whenever I showed up late. Today, I'd been at the gym when it suddenly hit me that I needed to pick him up, so I rushed over, breathless, not even taking the time to change. Maybe it was because I was sweating and my hair was a mess, but Silas must have thought I was trying to reignite our marriage. I took a deep breath, steadying myself and walked into the terminal. I had a husband who loved me, so why let 2 rabid dogs ruin my mood? But as soon as I entered the VIP lounge, my brow furrowed. The usually calm and quiet VIP lounge was chaotic today. The air was thick with cigarette smoke and men talked loudly and puffed their cigars like they owned the place. A rotund man, balding and gruff, waddled over and sneered. What are you doing here, country girl? This is a VIP lounge, not your personal resting spot. Get out. I pulled out my VIP card, but my irritation was barely contained. I'm not in the wrong place. I paid for this. The man opened his mouth to retort, but before he could speak, Silas approached. His voice was cold, his gaze cutting. Alora, is this what you've come to? Begging me for money? Now you're buying your way into the VIP lounge?